All right, guys, so we're going to be talking about general patient interactions, and more specifically, the first thing that we'll be talking about is smiling. So there's a study that was done, and it had two different categories. It had one as a control of just regular therapists treating regular patients without any kind of knowledge of the study, and then it had another group of very similar patients that therapists were treating, and the therapist did nothing but smile and be incredibly encouraging. And who would have thought that the group of the therapists that were smiling and being incredibly encouraging had better outcome measures than the other group of the control group of just typical therapists working with patients. So I think we can all agree that smiling just in general boosts everybody's serotonin levels, dopamine levels, just makes everybody happier. And that's kind of what we believe in TheraFit. Whenever you greet a patient, we should always be smiling. And part of another study that I took a little blurb out of was smile. It makes everyone in the room feel better because they consciously or unconsciously are smiling with you. So growing evidence shows that an instinct for facial mimicry allows us to empathize with and even experience other people's feelings. If we can't mirror another person's face, it limits our ability to read and properly react to their expressions. So smiling just in general is just a great way to make yourself feel better. I mean, if you're down and you smile or someone else is smiling around you, it's hard not to smile with them. So smiling is by far the one interaction that we encourage all of our employees to do. Another thing that comes to mind when we talk about patient interactions is people do business patients will do business with people they know, like, and trust. So there's got to be those three different pieces in there. They have to know us, they have to like us, and they have to trust us. And of course you would say that, thinking about it, but because, who would go to physical therapy and not trust the therapist that they're working with? But it actually is something that you have to develop. It's a relationship that develops with the patient, and they have to be able to trust you at the end of it to really feel like this is a productive part of their time or use of their time. So another little fact is it takes 7 seconds for someone to have an opinion about you. So you have 7 seconds to get somebody to know, like, and trust you, and that forever builds the relationship and starts the relationship that you're going to have. And surely you've been in an instance where you've met somebody up front and you're just like, I got a bad feeling about that, and then down the road they do something and you're like, see, I knew it, I knew they were bad to begin with. And it's just that instant, those 7 seconds are so important to discern whether or not this person's going to be someone that you know, like, and trust. So when we have 7 seconds to make an impact on somebody, what's the most important thing we can do? Smile. So that's why we smile. We smile when someone walks through the door. We smile when we ask somebody to do something. We smile when we meet somebody for the first time. We smile when we talk about their goals. It just tends to be a happy place anyway, so it's easy and natural to smile, but it really does impact the person's outcomes. So, and because it impacts outcomes, that's another reason why it's so important to us, So another thing that we want to talk about in this segment or module is when we address somebody that at first glance might not seem like they are cognitively present, or able to speak back to you. It's incredibly important that we always address the patient first. So we get down on their level. If they're in a wheelchair, we come down to their level and we address them straight on. And it's always a one-on-one interaction talking with the patient. So if they have a caregiver that's present, we can certainly talk to the caregiver too, but we should always be addressing the patient first. We should always be telling the patient what we're going to do next. We're going to be transferring over to the mat, Jared. We're going to be standing, Sarah. We're going to be, stretching out your hamstrings. Imagine if someone just took your leg and started stretching you out, without you knowing what was going to happen. So, we always communicate what we're going to do to the patient. We're always speaking directly to the patient. The next thing that we do also is we speak age appropriately to the patient. So, if the patient is 35 years old, we're speaking to them like they're 35 years old. If they're 5 years old, we're speaking to them like they're 5 years old, So that's pretty much wraps up our general patient interactions. We get much more specific, with the specific modules, therapist or front desk or whatnot. But for now, that pretty much wraps up how we want you guys to be thinking about interacting with our patients.